What a lot of guys don't think about, just yesterday, this is kind of a community hole up here in Lake of the Woods. Guys were drifting, waves were ripping through here about 3.5 feet, and everyone was drifting spinners through this pot of fish that hasn't moved in about a week. And we're looking at this going, man, I'm not going to do the monkey see, monkey do thing here. Let's see if we can catch fish both directions. Well, I have a 72 inch Altera. I hit it 1 mile an hour, north heading, programmed it in. And next thing you know, me and Comus are catching fish both ways. And we took all the boats that were in that pack of boats, and they're going, whoa, because what they were doing is drifting down, catching a few fish, driving back up, disturbing the school of fish, and then drifting back down. And we kind of showed them, the guys that had, 60, 70 inch shaft trolling motors, they were actually able to run that same program, keeping their bait in the water. And next thing you know, like Brett caught a 27. First day up here, Brett catches a 27 inch. We literally filled the box on one pass, and we're just fun fishing. So if you go to a community hole like that, the monkey see, monkey do thing, sometimes that works and you will catch fish, but it doesn't hurt to think outside of the box. Just because everyone else is doing it, if you know your boat is capable, or even yesterday back trolling would have worked too. If you had a tiller boat, you could have just put the butt end of the boat into the waves and just quite simply put a drift bag out the front on the downwind pass, and you'd have been just fine. So a lot of times keeping your line in the water will always catch you more fish. So in a scenario like that, sometimes doing something a little bit different, coming up with your own technique instead of seeing 10 boats doing one thing, and yeah, they're successful at it, but then we took that spin, made it our own, and literally caught twice as many fish and a bonus hog to go with it. So Mille Lacs in particular, same situation. There's a few boats out there in those community spots. They're community spots for one reason, it's because they hold fish. I talk a lot about people fishing memories all the time, and that's a good and a bad thing. If you come up to a resort every year and you fish a memory and you always catch fish, and then the water's cold and you got to change things up, it's always good to have a starting point. But if you're not catching fish on your memory, move. So in particular on Mille Lacs, we come in, everyone's rigging fish, right? And that's a staple technique on Mille Lacs. Long snell, leech, minnow, whatever it is. Rigging always works. It slowed down about a day and a half on rigging. We were literally going to the community spots, tying on rip and wrap in crayfish color or chrome blue, and casting them out and ripping, forcing these fish to bite because they were there, and just getting that reaction bite out of it. Next thing you knew, all the boats around us are pitching whatever they had, jigging wraps, whatever it was, and everyone the guys that had those baits were like, wow, that's working. And instead of one fish every half hour, you're literally able to target those schools of fish that were there. They needed a reaction bait to get them to bite, not just a leech on a plain hook biting, which is really, really natural for sluggish fish, but we're literally waking these fish up with those loud rattle baits. So a couple different scenarios you can put into play, either going really, really aggressive, using the wind and your equipment to your advantage, but usually always keeping your bait in the water longer or getting more aggressive on areas that there's fish will catch you a ton of different fish. Just be mindful if you go into a pack of boats. Keep your distance if you're going to be chucking jigging wraps or ripping wraps, because people can get a little offended if you get too close. You don't want to mess anyone else's fishing up because of that. But a lot of times going in there, throwing heavy artillery at them is going to pick off those easy fish just like that.